Hello everyone, I am Lakshya Shivram Krishnan. I work as a technical program manager with the Google Pay team, and I'm super excited to be here at the CityJS conference. I'm here to be speaking to you about how can we automate our tasks using Google Apps Script. So here we go. What is Google Apps Script? It is a cloud-based, which means it can be available anywhere on the internet, JavaScript platform, which means you need to know basic JavaScript programming to use AppScript, that lets us integrate with multiple Google products like Sheets, Docs, Forms, Slides, etc. and it helps us automate our tasks. So basically, all in all, it helps us improve our productivity by sort of not doing repetitive tasks and sort of eliminating some of the mundane tasks we have to do on a day-to-day basis. Let's hear in 60 seconds on what really is AppScripts.
Do you make the same formatting changes in your spreadsheets over and over and over again? Do you spend more time adding filters than you do writing content? Do you wish the spreadsheet fairies would just magically clean up your tables? Give me 60 seconds and I'll show you how Google Apps Script can get your sheets magical in no time. Google Apps Script is a flexible JavaScript-based scripting language built into Google products like Docs, Slides, and Sheets. Nearly anything we can do in Sheets with a mouse and a keyboard, we can reproduce in code using AppScript. All we need is the script editor, which is hiding from us up in the Tools menu. We grab a reference to the active sheet using the Spreadsheet App Parent class and target specific cells with getRange. We can use the A1 notation we're familiar with to capture just some of the cells. GetDataRange is a handy shortcut to capture all the data in the sheet. Now let's make the magic happen. We can easily change the color of the background and the text, and it's just one line to make it bold. We can center the text and add borders, and we can quickly set up a filter. And if we want to make it easy to repeat all this again, we can add a custom menu to the file. Just wrap our formatting code in a named function and configure the menu in an onload function. Next time we open the file, all we have to do is click the custom menu and abracadabra, repeatable code. We've barely scratched the surface of all the cool things you can do with AppScript. Check out the API to see the available methods and step through a tutorial to help you get started.
So what else can we really do with AppScripts, right? I did tell you that we can automate a lot of our tasks. What does this mean? It means that we are able to write code that sort of programmatically performs tasks across multiple Google products. Automations are set in motion by multiple things like custom menus, buttons, user actions, or a time-based schedule. We can also use Google Sheets and create some of the custom functions that we wish. While Google Sheets has multiple built-in functions, we can roll up a custom function and start using it just like any built-in function. We can also use AppScripts to build an app that automates tasks or connects us with third-party services within the Google Workspace. It is also possible for us to share our solution with others on the Google Workspace Marketplace. Last but not the least, we can use Google's AppScript to provide a conversational interface that lets Google Chat users interact with services as if the service were a person. Isn't that cool? Let's get started and get our hands dirty. But before that, here are some coding basics. AppScript uses JavaScript, like I told you. The good news is JavaScript is one of the easiest languages to learn, and there are lots of public resources available to help us answer our questions. What is also good is JavaScript can be used even beyond just AppScript. Throughout this hands-on workshop, we assume that you have the basic familiarity with the below concepts like variables, functions, conditionals, and classes. Let me take you quickly through a brief syntax of a JavaScript function. So we use the keyword function to basically declare a function. We we suffix the declaration of a function with a function name, which in this case is my function. And within the brackets, we give various function arguments. In this case, there are no function arguments. We use the keyword var to declare a variable, and that is followed by a variable name. In this case, it is first word, second word, phrase, etc. We have to ensure that we end commands with a semicolon. We can also use the plus operator, as you can see here, to concatenate phrases. Logger here is a package object, a library that can be used when we want to log certain arguments or certain variables into the execution log. We can also with 2 forward slashes comment any command in JavaScript. So with this basics, I think we're good enough to sort of look at a few examples that we can use to build various automation tasks using AppScript. What I also want you to get familiar with is the AppScript editor. If you see the screen, there are multiple features that comes with the AppScript editor. One is obviously the brace or the quote matching, which means you can highlight the matching braces to see which is that function, which for each opening brace, which is the closing brace. There is also indentation. So if you see the diagram there, you see after the function all the statements under the function are all indented, and there is also an autocomplete feature which will get triggered the moment you start typing, like you see in the diagram there. So with this, let's see how can we get started with writing custom functions in AppScript. Google AppScript offers hundreds of built-in functions, like I told you: average, sum, VLOOKUP. And when these aren't enough for our needs, this is when we can write custom functions. Say you want to convert meters to miles, or you want to fetch live content from the internet. And then we can use some of these functions just like any built-in function on Google Sheets. Like I said, custom functions are created using standard JavaScript. And here we'll see a simple custom function called double, which basically multiplies an input value by 2 and display, and we can use it just like any built-in function in Sheets. So what I want you to do now is first we look at how we create a custom function, and then we look at how we can use that custom function. So to create a custom function, what I want all of you to do is open any spreadsheet on Google Sheets. Select the menu item there. In the menu item, you will find extensions. Go to extensions and app scripts. If you can't find extensions, check it under tools. You will find script editor. Click on script editor. Once you come into the editor, you will find a basic boilerplate code. Just delete everything that is there and write this simple double function that you see on the slide. So basically you say function double here is the name of the function, followed by the arguments, which is function argument here is input. And what the function returns is basically 2 times the input. Once you do this, click on the save button on the editor. Now a function is created. How do we use it? What do we do is click on any cell that we want to use. So here in the diagram you see I've written 7 in the cell A1, and whenever I want to use this double function, all I need to do is type an equal sign, say double, and pass that function argument. So function argument here is whatever is there in cell A1, which is 7. So then you see that once you press enter, there is a momentarily loading symbol, and in about a few seconds the output is displayed. Here in this case it is 7 into 2, 14. So this is how we can create custom functions. Very easy, isn't it? Let's now see how we can create custom menus in AppScript, right? So we can add new menus in Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, etc. with each menu item tied to a function in a script. So to display a menu when the user opens a file, we write the menu code within an onOpen function. Here an onOpen is a trigger, right? What the example that we'll try to solve now is we try to add a menu with one item, which is first item here, followed by a separator, and then a sub menu that contains another item, which is second item in this case. So to make it simple for all of us, what I've done is I've sort of written this code in bit.ly/custom-menu-demo. So if you go to this link and maybe create a copy, that should get us all started. Or what you could also do is open a new document in Google Docs, select, go to Tools and Script Editor. You will find tools in the menu bar. Delete any code that exists on the editor and enter the code that you see on the right side of the screen, right? The code, you can also get the code by making a copy of bit.ly/custom-menu-demo, and the code you will find the code there when you go to Tools and Script Editor. Once you do that, click on Save, and then when you come back to your Google Doc, you will see custom menu there with this particular hierarchy, right? When you're sort of running app script, just ensure that you're signed into only one Google account. Many of us have multiple Google accounts like personal, corporate accounts, etc., or even college accounts. Ensure that you're signed in with only one Google account so that there are no permission conflicts between accounts that come in. If you don't want to do that, what you can do is just open an incognito mode and start with like making a copy of bit.ly/custom-menu-demo in an incognito window, right? So this is how we saw two basic things. One is custom functions and custom menus. So now let's get to the real action with two practical examples, right? The first one is about writing a personalized email, and here we're trying to connect Sheets, Google Sheets, with Gmail, that is any email service, right? And the second example that we will see is creating a calendar from Sheets. So here we're trying to connect Sheets to Google Calendar, right? So let's get started with the first one about writing personalized email. Again, to make it simple for all of us, what I've done is I've created a copy of this in bit.ly/sheets-email. So once you go to this link, either on an incognito mode or a browser with just one Google account signed in, this will be a view only page for you. So you can create a copy of this page, and that will ensure, and give it an appropriate name, and that will ensure that we have prepared the data. So basically this data is a tabular format of name, email and ID, and I'll show you what is the use case, right? So we are trying to write a personalized email to Lakshya and Prayogshala, where with their corresponding email, and send the mail to their corresponding email IDs, and we have an extra field here which is an identifier, and I'll tell you where we use this identifier. So this is how we prepare the data, and I hope you're all done with this step. Moving ahead, we go and find the app script editor. So to do that, like you see on screen, you go to extensions and app script. If you're using an older version, in the menu bar you will find tools, and within tools you will find script editor. Doing the same thing, you will still end up in the app script editor. So this is how the app script editor looks, and what we're trying, and here we write our first function. So if you go to your app script editor, you will already find this function called send personalized emails. What are we trying to do here? We're trying to use two classes here. One is the spreadsheet app class, and the other is the mail app class, right? So what we're trying to do here is the spreadsheet that we have with names, emails and IDs. We're trying to get all the rows and all the data from that particular sheet. So what we do here is we use the spreadsheet app, get the active sheet, get all the data within the sheet, and their corresponding values. We've also have some text. So this is the body of the email, which we said, congratulations, we're pleased to invite you and your registration number is XYZ. XYZ is basically that ID which we have filled in the Google Sheet. So here is how we invoke that, right? To send any email, there are three things that we need. One is whom we are sending the email address to. The second is the subject of the email. And the third is the message body, which is the body of the email, right? So we are getting each of these fields from the Google Sheet, and we're using mailapp.send email to send that email. What we're also doing additionally is we have a logger class which helps us view the execution log once the function is run, and I'll show you how we see that. So basically we say email sent to, and we're writing the name and the email address so that we can track later for from a logging standpoint, right? So this is what we're trying to do with this function. Once we write this function, we go ahead and run the function. How do you run a function? Basically, since there's only one function here, it will be selected for us. So here you can see send personalized emails, and then you click on the run button. The moment you click on run, it will ask you for some permissions. So you will get a dialog which says review permission, and here is how you review the permission. I'll show you through a small clip. So you select the account which is tied to your this thing, click on advanced and say proceed and allow. Once you do that, the authorization will be successful, right? Let me show it to you again. So you click on your account, you click on advanced, you say go to AppScript demo, you say allow, and this makes your authorization successful. And once it is successful, what happens is you will be able, your function has been run, and you will be able to see your execution log, right? So here it says email sent to Lakshya with the email ID, right? So this is how we can write a personalized email using Sheets. So if you have 100 people to send the email to, with only registration ID being different, we see, and this is the same one script trigger with an Excel sheet with 100 names populated, right? So what this enables us to do is, we've also found that the moment we send customized emails, we're almost sure to get a reply. So this is a use case that we can probably use in our everyday lives, right? So yeah, this was the first example that I wanted to show you with AppScript. The second one is we're going to see how can we create a calendar from Sheets, where the Sheets contains all the data that is needed to create a calendar event. We're going to use that and create multiple events in a calendar. Let's see how we do that. Like I said, to make it easy, I have put this code under bit.ly/sheets-calendar. Again, ensure that you make a copy of this file so that extensions is enabled for you. If you don't make a copy, if it's a view only access, you will not have extensions enabled for yourself. So go to bit.ly/sheets-calendar and make a copy of the sheet. I'll just take you through the data, but just again a same note. Ensure you do this in an incognito mode if you have multiple Gmail accounts set in your browser, or ensure you log in from all other accounts except the one that you're using to run all the demos throughout this talk, right? So here's how we prepare the data. If we see that the use case here is you have an exam timetable, and what we're trying to do, and this could be anything, this could even be like a meeting schedule of X meetings, and you have various fields, right? So there's exam subject, type, start time, end time, and exam center. What we're trying to do is put each of these events into a calendar with appropriate descriptions, right? So this is how our data looks. The next step is to find the AppScript editor. So we go to extensions in AppScript, or we go to tools and script editor, whichever version of Google's G Suite that you're using. Once we do that, we start writing our functions. So you can find 3 functions, and given that you've created a copy, you have all these functions already in your editor. What we're trying to do here with onOpen function is have a menu button called calendar actions, and within calendar actions we have 2 sub items, which is export events and delete events. Export events will trigger the export events function, and on click of the delete events it triggers the delete events function. So let's see what these 2 functions are. The export events function, like you see, is basically helping us put all these events which are there in the spreadsheet into a calendar. How do we do that? We grab, like in the previous example, we grab the entire sheet which is active using the spreadsheet app class. We get all the values within it. Give me a moment to tell you what is the calendar ID that you should pick. So line number 31, we have a variable called cal ID, and this ID will be different for each of us. I'll tell you how to find that ID, but before that, we're also invoking the calendar app in this case. And for any calendar event to be created, there are 3 things that is needed. One is a description, a start time, and an end time, right? So from this spreadsheet that we have, we are picking the we're picking the subject, and we're picking the description, we're picking the start time and the end time, right? So subject here, description here involves 3 aspects: the subject, the exam type, and the exam center, to make it as detailed for you to figure out like what exactly is this exam, where is the center, and is it an internal exam, is it an external exam, etc. We are also capturing start time and end time. Basically we are trying to create multiple events, right? So that's why we have a variable event, and we are using the cal variable created above to get all the event series by ID. Now, like I said, there are 3 fields that you need when you are creating an event, and that is description, start time, and end time. So we have populated all these 3 fields, and hence we're creating a calendar event. We're also logging this event with an appropriate event ID. Note that calendar ID is different from event ID. I'll just give me one slide more to tell you how to pick that calendar ID. So this was about the export event function. The next one we see is the delete event function. Assume that you have multiple events in your calendar and you want to delete all of them. So here's how you do it. Basically, you gather the range, you use the same event ID that you use to export the event, the calendar ID that you use to export the event, and then you just call the ev.delete event. So here ev is an array of all the events that are present in that calendar, and here we're saying get all the events between 1st Jan 2022 and 30th March 2022, right? So this is basically a delete events function. Now let me tell you how do you get that calendar ID. So here we try to create a calendar. If you go to other calendars, you will see create new calendar. Click there, give an appropriate name to the calendar. Here we're giving exam timetable, and then click on create calendar. Once you do that, you can see calendar creation is in progress, and once it's done, you can go to configure, or you can just go to the settings tab, and when you scroll all the way down, you will find something called integrate calendar with a calendar ID, right? So this is the calendar ID that we need to fill in our code, and this calendar ID will be different for each of us, right? So again, when you go to, go to other calendars, click on new calendar, enter the name, when you click on configure, all the way down you will find integrate calendar section. Under that you will find calendar ID, right? So here what we do is we edit the cal ID line, which is line 31 for the export events function, and line 65 in this case for the delete events function. So edit the cal ID in both these functions. I have actually masked a part of the calendar ID so that you don't copy the same ID. You go to your calendar event and find out your calendar ID, and then change line 31 and 65 on the code with your appropriate calendar ID. Just ensure you copy the entire calendar ID that you find there within double quotes in line 31 and 65. Once this is done, we have to run our function, right? So how do we run a function? This is basically, we first run export events. When we run export events, so the first function we run obviously is on open, and that is what will enable us to get that custom menu. But to trigger these two functions of export events and delete events, we run the export events function. So the moment you select the function name as export events on the top right, when you see the red box, the rightmost box there, export events, and then you click on run, right? Again, it will ask you a dialog to review permissions. You say review permissions and follow the same steps as your previous function. So here is how it will look. You click on your email account that you're using, click on advanced, click on go to AppScript demo 2, and then say allow. This ensures that your authorization is successful. And once the authorization is successful, we are able to check the events on Sheets in calendar.google.com. So all the events that we've created on Sheet, we can see it on our calendar. If you go to your calendar.google.com and select that exam timetable calendar, under the dates that we mentioned in as start time and end time in our sheets, we can see those events happening in our calendar. If you can't see them, remember to refresh your calendar and you will be able to see this event. So we have a bunch of events in Jan and bunch of events in Feb, and this is how they display. We can also view all the events, calendar events that are created using the execution log. So here we'd use logger.log and given an event and said we want to log event ID. So here we see all the event IDs that are created, right? So this is how we can export events. Now, given that you have lots of events exported and maybe you want to delete all of them, that's how we've written the delete function. Like I explained the delete function, now what we try to do is run the delete function. So on the top right red box that you see, if export events, it's a drop down. So in the drop down, select delete events and click on run, right? This time it will not ask you for review permissions because you've already given permission to the script once, right? And once you run the function, you can see all the events in your calendar. If you can't see, the events will be removed. If you can't see them removed, refresh your calendar and you should be able to see it. We have also logged, the event description, event title in the log for delete events. So here we can, in the execution log, we can also see all the events that are deleted from our calendar, right? So here are these are two use cases that we saw, and Google AppScript can be extended for much more use cases. But these were two practical applications which we thought will be useful to you. All the resources that we spoke about today, you can find it in developers.google.com/appscript. This is available for all of us to sort of make use of some of the quick start tutorials, understand what is AppScript and things like that. So, here's the link, developers.google.com/apps-script. With that, thank you so much for your time. I hope you had an informative session and looking forward to interact with all of you. Thank you so much.